Hey there, fellow fans of Clash Royale. Thank you so much for stopping by as we explore the most frustrating card in the game. And this comes to us with live battles from none other than Peter $17. Now, I have done you guys the favor of giving you these replays without his commentary. Should you really want to subject yourself to that, then you're more than welcome to check out his channel and you can get his take on these same battles. Now, opinions may differ. A lot of people really hate the Royal Giant. Some people still talk about the Mortar and Expo, even though you rarely see them any longer. But there it is on deck, for me at least, and some other players in my clans, the Rocket. By far the most frustrating card to deal with. It really comes down to the fundamental of getting damage on a tower without having to have any sort of skill. It is just an elixir trade, 6 elixir for massive amounts of damage to the tower. Many feel too much damage. Some like it, but again, it's extremely frustrating. We all know Galamom's favorite card is probably the Rocket, but don't tell her I'm making this episode. And of course, the worst possible way to troll your opponent is to hide that card until the very end of the battle when they think that they're safe, when they think that maybe the only range damage you have is a zap spell or a poison spell, which is going to do less than 300 damage over 10 seconds. But also, besides the end of the battle, there are mid-battle points where a Rocket is an effective and frustrating card. Check out Sparky on his way, coming across the battlefield. A Rocket that would land on Sparky and the tower, or Sparky and another set of units, would be a great use, but you've got such a very small radius, effective radius of that Rocket, that it does limit the uses of it where it is going to be a positive elixir trade. Now, Peter facing Sparky right here does manage to get him out of the way, but the opponent pumping all sorts of elixir in the back left. In fact, he's got 2 elixir collectors side by side, and this is one of those spots where I would love to have a lightning spell. A lightning spell would do really well here, whereas the Rocket, of course, couldn't touch more than 2 buildings. The poison spell has a similar effect, and check this out. Here comes another Sparky passing a badly damaged tower, and here comes Peter's Rocket, taking out the fully charged Sparky and giving Peter the 1 crown, the laughing 1 crown lead. And of all units to grab as they pass the tower, I would say that the Sparky is going to be the easiest and at the same time most effective. Doing it to a P.E.K.K.A, a Golem, even a Royal Giant, you're just not going to see that significant amount of damage. The Rocket can take out the Sparky in 1 shot and, of course, grab hundreds and hundreds of hit points on the opponent's tower. Now Peter has gone into defensive mode, just trying to hold his opponent off for another 10 seconds. The Giant is going to go down. The Sparky nowhere near getting to the tower. A zap spell for good measure. A great reset of Sparky. Time runs out and Peter grabs the 1 crown win. Laughing again. Peter has such bad manners. Alright, so Peter is up again, this time facing a level 12 player, so a higher level player. And Peter again bringing the Hog Cycle deck, but this time in the place of the poison spell, Peter has chosen to bring the Rocket, and that can work out if you can avoid needing or using the poison spell. Obviously, I'm going to prefer a Fireball, Freeze, Poison, anything but a Rocket, but Peter has chosen to bring the 6 elixir Rocket, and we will see how he does. Looks like he's got an early rush starting against his opponent here, saving the zap spell, hovering over the tower, grabs the Ice Wizard and the Tower Hog Rider, gets to the tower. The Valkyrie won't quite get there. Defensive Valkyrie is going to work there, but the Musketeer is going to get a couple of shots off on that tower before she goes down, and that is an early and significant lead for Peter. But here comes the next push, Miner and Minion Horde. The Miner grabs the attention. Rocket! A Rocket from Peter. That is a surprising play, and actually surprisingly effective. He was in a world of hurt right there should those minions get in while the tower was distracted firing on the Miner. So he does avoid a disaster right there and somehow preserves his lead, and he's got another push. Valkyrie followed by the Musketeer. Zap spell at the ready. He hovers. Nope, he draws it back. He's going to drop the Hog Rider in there. Looks like the Valkyrie will get to the tower. The Musketeer firing on the tower. The Hog Rider takes out the cannon. And wow, that is quite the combination. All of those units getting some damage on the tower, and that tower has fallen. Now it's just a matter of trying to counter these skeletons. And obviously this player was counting on the Miner and the Skeleton Army and the Miner and the Minion Horde. where you're using the miner to grab the attention of that tower, and then a large number of small units to get in there, and without being able to take them down, they would easily take a tower down in just a few seconds. Peter has definitely managed to counter that strategy, and the rocket, a surprisingly effective tool for stopping that first push. We will see if Peter gets a chance to use the rocket again. He has taken some severe damage on that left tower and is focused solely on defense right now. The zap spell on the minions misses a couple of them. Here they come in after the tower. Valkyrie on the miner. Minions are finally going to fall. The tower is badly damaged, and it looks like Peter is moving on to the right-hand side, thinking ahead. The Valkyrie taking out the skeleton army. The Hog Rider gets right to the tower again. Peter hovering that zap. Where's it going to go? Where's he going to put it? He is going to drop it on the cannon. A little bit late to save the Hog Rider, but again, the Musketeer doing critical damage to that right tower. And as time counts down, it looks like Peter has an easy shot at the second tower should he need it. He had the cannon at the ready, but he won't even need it as the opponent can't get the first tower down. Peter with a laugh, with a thumbs up. Time counts down, and Peter takes out a level 12, 1 crown to 0. So we've seen a couple of wins from Peter that were relatively close, and this time we've got Peter out there searching for an opponent, and he finds none other than a level 10 player, so watch out. I have to feel bad for this guy right away. Hoping he doesn't understand English, he goes for the Hog Rush right from the start, and it looks like Peter with a pretty effective counter gets the Valkyrie in there, and despite the zap spell, that Hog Rider only got a shot or two off on that tower. The Valkyrie on the move, Peter going right to collecting Elixir, and this is a strange deck. It looks like Peter has changed out the Hog Rider for the Prince, so I'm not sure about this deck. This is definitely an unusual setup here. He can't quite stop the minions. They have gotten a lot of damage on that left tower before he finally gets them down, and the Musketeer is moving forward. Looks like rather than sending anybody in with a Musketeer, yep, he's going to save his Elixir and try to counter whatever's coming at him. And it is a big push. He's got the miner in there along with guards and goblins, and more damage to that left tower. Suddenly, Peter not looking so hot. In fact, I don't see any funny emotes, funny taunts coming from Peter's side of the battlefield. Now here comes the Prince, followed by a Valkyrie. He is going to pass the Valkyrie. Zap spell. Oh, too late. Would have been great to grab those goblins. He puts them on the minions, and they one-shot the minions. Again, that level 11 versus level 10 advantage, and that gives Peter the tower. And you saw the tears from the opponent. There is little that is more disheartening than when your minions get one-shotted by your opponent's zap, something that would never happen should you be playing a player of the same level. And this guy's not giving up, though. He is pushing again with the Hog Rider. Peter getting in there. He puts the Musketeer off, and notice the Musketeer on the right-hand side of the playing field. So it countered the Hog on the left, but is going to move off on the right. And yes, Peter is on his way with another push, another Prince trying to get to the tower, hovering the zap spell. This time, he is going to grab 2 of the goblins, so a pretty effective counter right there by both players. The Prince, though, not quite going to get there, gets taken out by the Fire Spirits. In the meantime, Peter's opponent has gotten the left tower down to under 1,000, but Peter is pumping away like crazy. He's got 2 undamaged pumps up at once to his opponent's 0, and now it looks like Peter has given up on his own left tower. He is focusing on the right with a big push on the right-hand side, but you've got minions, you've got the Fire Spirits countering, and again, I have no idea what was in Peter's mind to just give up that left lane tower. He goes after the right, but doesn't get a great deal of damage on it. He's got it down to 1,200. Final 25 seconds of the battle. Another Valkyrie, another Musketeer countered again by the Minion Horde. A very effective counter card. The Prince coming from the very back of the playing field. We will see if that Prince can get a charge in on the tower. Here it comes, Valkyrie in front, Valkyrie behind, a Musketeer, so another big 3-unit push coming after the tower. With time counting down, we go into overtime, and of course you'll notice Peter has not yet touched the rocket card. It sat in his hand the entire time, and he's just been playing with the other 3 card slots, and right here, he checks the damage to make sure that his rocket is going to finish off that tower. Indeed it is, but instead of ending the battle, Peter prolongs the pain. He is going to let the opponent put a big push on his King's Tower. It looks like he could get close. Suddenly a lot of damage, and there goes the rocket. Peter sends it on its way and just barely, oh my gosh, almost loses the battle, drops the rocket with 300 or so hit points left on his King's Tower, and grabs the victory. So the rocket card, frustrating in and of itself, but when you use it in combination with taunts or playing with your opponent like a cat with its prey, I can't think of much else that is more bad manners. Let me know what you guys think. Is the rocket your least favorite, most frustrating card, or is it something else? Thank you again for watching all the way to the end of this episode. I appreciate every last one of you and hope you subscribe so I can see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galidon, your description of my battles is terrible. They should come listen to my talk about it.